Hello and welcome. Good evening and welcome to Leading Ladies, Leaving Legacies, Living Legacies. I am honored and delighted to be with you tonight. And our guest, Lynn Kitchen, is going to share so much powerful information with you. It's all about the power of positive thinking and the can-do spirit and so much more. I could go on and on and on. I'm like a little kid off to first day of grade school. I'm excited. And I can't wait for you to meet her. So before we go any further, help me to welcome our guest tonight, Lynn Kitchen. And she's going to come over and say hello, hello, and welcome. Thank you, Lynn.
Oh, thank you, Joy. I am overjoyed, over the moon, joyed to be here with you. Thank you for having me. I'm so grateful.
I am more so than you, my friend, because let me share this with our audience. You and I are troopers to the ninth degree because we had a little bit of issue here, there, and yonder. And you and I rose to the occasion, and you more so. And here you are. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I am really honored to have you here and delighted. I could go on and on sharing with them about your background and what you've been doing and what you were doing and what you're doing now is much more of interest to us because we know most of us who know you, one of the reasons that how I came to you is that you have interviewed or been aligned with most of the leading motivational, inspirational speakers in the world. So I'd like for you to share with us a little bit about how you came to that and why you love that so much.
Well, that's a great question. And first of all, I want to honor what you're doing in the world first, leading ladies, and to honor all of the women in the world who are doing some magnificent things, you included, and you're being one of the leading ladies yourself, Joy.
Thank you.
So, this it's wonderful work that we're doing in the world, and to inspire others is close to our hearts, because if we can help lift others up so that they can be the very best selves that they can be, then it helps us to be our best selves.
Indeed.
So I think that's my why, really quickly, is it makes me feel good. It gives me great joy and pleasure to support not just women, but everyone who's hungry to bring out their very best selves. And how do we do that is to, well, I believe in the power of motivation and the power of mentorship. We can't do everything by ourselves. We can't do it alone because we just don't know everything. And that's the way it is.
Indeed, and I have to tell you that all of the things that you're saying, this is why kindred spirits sooner than later always connect. Because not only all of the things that you shared just now, Lynn, but what you're doing and how you're going about it, which we'll talk a wee bit more about later. But also, one of the kindred spirits that I had with you was that you also work with young people.
Hmm.
Young kids who are trouble and distress, juvenile delinquents, and so do I. So we have so much to share because it's the young woman and the mature and men as well that we are interested in helping them to rise to all that they can be. So thank you, thank you, thank you for that. I'd love to hear
Yes.
more about why you're doing that. And you said it fills you up, and that I understand. Tell us how you came to start this stuff.
Well, yes, specifically the youth, the incarcerated youth, I believe, are a population that is suffering greatly, and they deserve a chance. They're so young. They make mistakes early, and without some kind of guidance, it's easy to make a mistake in this world. There's just so many problems that one can fall into
Yes,
without guidance and without parenting. And let's face it, many of the young people who are incarcerated have, they've been abused, or have been, they just haven't had any good chances and good upbringing, or they've been led astray by other people,
yes,
unfortunately. And so
yes,
they deserve a chance because they're still young, and many of the some of the greatest people on earth
yes,
have been in jail a long time. We can say
yes,
Nelson Mandela, what,
yes,
27 years?
yes, yes,
And
yes.
even though his plight was different, I have a soft spot in my heart, and it happened. You asked me, how did it happen? It
Yes.
happened because a friend of mine, with whom I was going through a spiritual program together, and she and I were being licensed as state licensed spiritual practitioners in California.
Mhm.
under the aegis of Dr. Reverend Michael Beckwith. And she
Yes.
started a foundation called Spirit Awakening. And she would go into jails and juvenile halls and also teach at high school levels the concept that we are all one, that we're all spirit, and
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 it's
she,
true.
yeah, and she inspired young people to go beyond the labels that people put upon them.
Hmm.
What's underneath the your name? What's underneath the labels that are being put on you? What's underneath the color of your skin? What's underneath that? Where are you really, and who are you really? And I saw these young people flocking to her as if she was the Pied Piper of teenagers. And
Mm.
I fell in love with her. Her name is Akuyo Graham, originally from Ghana, West Africa, and
Yes.
she opened a foundation called Spirit Awakening Foundation. And I've been on her board for 22 years. We raise money every year, and part of the real inspiration of why I became interested in interviewing the best motivational speakers of the world is because I got interested in how can we motivate people at their core.
Yes.
And so if you can motivate those that are the least fortunate, and you can motivate the most fortunate and everyone in between and all around the world, we might have a different world for our next generation and the
Indeed. And
generation after that.
no question about it. And everything for us starts at our core. And the key word that we're all using of late is building that relationship, the best relationship with yourself. And what you said, let us say hello and welcome to all of the wonderful people that are out here to greet you, Len, because I think most people are aware and familiar with what you're doing and want to know a little bit more about it. And you're going to share that with us. But you're speaking to the core of most of us who are doing this work where we are way beyond ourselves. We want to share more about how all of us can rise, as Maya Angelou said, to the best that's within us. So I love it that, and I want you to give me the name of the woman that you mentioned, because sad to say, I'm not familiar with her, but I love the way you described her to us, because that's what you do. You fall in love with people. I
That's right.
you on the TV one night on the computer screen, and I said, I must get to know this woman. And here you are, my mentor here. One of them has always said to me, get people who are doing more or less what you're doing, but are at a higher level, and that's what I'm about. So I'm honored that you're here. Tell us
Thank
what
you,
you're
Joy.
doing with the. Oh, my pleasure. Tell us what you're doing with your television work and how you are incorporating that. I know you have 13 episodes, a television series that you're doing about world's greatest motivators and so on. Tell us a lot about
Yes. Well, okay, now I'm really glad you asked because
it.
this is my absolute passion. Um, I am a just so pleased to be called. You know, this is a calling
Yes,
from of my heart to
yes.
give back. And I had an idea, and that idea said, what if you could pull together 13 of the greatest speakers that we have on this planet today who
Mm,
happen to be motivational speakers
hmm.
who had something not only to say, but the way they say it helps to ignite the spark in someone.
Yes.
And that's a skill set that I have admired since I was a salesman in my teens and early 20s when I had to go out and make a living and I had to sell, and
Lynn,
I wanted to motivate myself. So
yes,
it came from there.
we get it. Because what
Okay.
you use, keyword, every motivational, inspirational speaker wants to ignite something in another being that will get them moving forward. And we all look for
Correct.
people like that. One of the ladies in the audience here that I know well, she says it takes a village and no one does anything alone. And this is true.
That's
Yes,
right. So
indeed.
to go on, the idea was pulling together a series. So a television program is usually a 13-week series. So therefore, how can I go out and find 13 of the very best speakers that we have? And I started out with the best speakers in America. And
Hmm.
then it was too limiting. And I thought, well, wait a minute. There are people all over the world who are filling stadiums. One gentleman in Japan filling stadiums. And we'd
Yeah.
never heard about them. And maybe some people around the world have not heard about the great motivators here. So let's put together a forum where we can offer a platform. I call it the platform of light,
Yes.
where we're inviting these speakers to jump up on stage and broadcast to the world. And we hope to have world, international, and national distribution of this television show. It's a 30-minute television show each week for 13 weeks.
Ah,
We're going to be airing in January of 2020. So we already have our distribution contract with a major national cable television here in America called WGN America, which has that plus Fox Sports. Already we have over 100 million viewers in that footprint that will be or not broadcasting to or airing to starting in January, from January through March.
so
In
exciting.
Yeah, in addition, we've just created a distribution outreach to a consortium of other networks. So more to be revealed. Whether I can't, say that the
Yes.
names of those networks now, but it happens to be an additional 50 million households. So a total of about 150 million households in America just to start. Then we move into international distribution. So let me tell you a little bit about the people involved.
Yes.
I'm so
And
pleased.
let me just say this.
Go
I
ahead.
think most everyone in this audience, those who are here now, Lynn, and those who will come for the replay, are familiar with many of the leading, well known, renowned, inspirational, motivational speakers. Some are with us still, some have gone on, but still with us in heart
Yes.
and spirit. And I know, because I did a little research on you, that you have interviewed so many of them. So we're all waiting with bated breath to hear what you're going to share with us.
Okay. Well, speaking of, there are many who have passed on, who are the legends that upon whose shoulders we now stand.
Mhm.
And I'm going to just name a few that were mentors of mine, and I
Yes,
was fortunate enough to interview Dr. Wayne Dyer,
yes, yes.
and of course he's passed on. And then one of my favorite is the well, actually, I interviewed his daughter, Earl Nightingale's daughter. I was
That's
able
the
to
interview that I was
interview
able to see you
recently.
do, Lynn. Yes,
Yeah, that's how I
mhm.
met you, Joy.
Yes, 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 yes.
So Earl Nightingale was a mentor's mentor, and he really was what we call the father of personal development. And of course, before him or concurrent with him, Napoleon Hill, who wrote Think and Grow Rich, and all of these people were the basis. And then this generation, who's still alive today,
Yes.
are the proteges of those early thought leaders. And so I'm honored to say that 1 month ago, we were filming our first 4 episodes, and that included Bob Proctor,
Oh my.
Les Brown, Mary Morrissey,
Okay.
and David Meltzer. These are four of the legacies that we have in our world today.
Indeed.
These four people have an international reputation on their own right and have been speaking on stages, some for 40 years or
Mhm.
more,
Yep.
teaching and speaking the idea of right thinking and of what it takes to motivate ourselves to that we can do it, and the positivity and the spirit, the can-do attitude. So I got in contact with them first, and I said, let's start with the very best of the best. And they said yes. They fell in love with the concept of, our tagline. I have a brochure here I'm going to show proudly.
Yes, yes. Oh my. Yes, indeed. Too.
World's Greatest Motivators. The
Mhm.
tagline is transcending borders, inspiring big dreams.
I love it. Love it.
So when you think about ideas that inspire, I believe they said yes to me because transcending borders around the world, the borders that we all create with each other, whether it is country borders, or community borders, or borders of race, or ideology, or borders of religion, and so forth, or borders of fear, our personal borders, and those borders that can be real or imagined. What if we can transform, transmute, and transcend all borders, real or imagined, and go for our big dream?
Absolutely. And what you just said and the tagline that you have for this, I like the title that you gave me because that ties in and connects to the can-do spirit, the way to think positive, and it can be done. There are no limits. The limits we put on ourselves. This is so exciting. It
It
really,
is. And I want to give you a little history.
please.
America apparently was built on this can do attitude, and I believe it doesn't belong to America. It is an international, worldwide attitude. The can do attitude is that which has brought up people by their bootstraps around the world, those who are downtrodden or those who don't have the same advantages as we happen to have because we happen to be born the luck of the draw here in America. I could easily have been born in dire straits in the deep jungles of Africa or something.
Yes,
And uh, there is still that spirit within everyone. Everyone yearns to be their best self.
I,
Everyone is the happiest when
yes,
we're going for a dream that is in our hearts, and I don't care what our conditions are.
yes. And I
So,
think most
yeah,
people, Lynn, want to rise to their best self because we
yeah,
all know that we come with limitations that we can override once we begin to rise and know that there are no limits. And that's why what you just said, the can do spirit, it's just not here in the States. It's universal.
it is.
It is.
That is why we think, when we have difficult times, notice that is what generates when the most difficult times in history, whether it's in American history or world history, we seem to generate the best orators during those difficult times.
This is
The
true.
orators who can help us pull up to a higher level within ourselves. You can think of Winston Churchill, for
Oh
example,
my.
or Martin Luther King Jr.,
Mm-hmm.
or even Abraham Lincoln, or currently the Dalai Lama. That people around the world who imbue us with higher ideals because of what their speech, and by communicating idea person to person to person to person to person, and be thinking along the lines of the power of positivity and what we can do if we have a different thinking.
Right, right. And most people who are really professional speakers and are motivational speakers, they know their presence is so authentic and
That's right.
that
It's
they
so
know
it's magical, isn't it?
it is
It's
magical. And one of
magical.
my favorite,
I love studying them.
yes, because there's something that within them, the word that you used earlier, that ignites something in many who are in the audience. And
That's
sometimes
right.
it's not so many, maybe it could be one, but it doesn't matter. The ability to do that, the art of doing that is what's important. Lynn, I cannot tell you how excited I am for all of this that you're doing with the motivational speakers, because that's where I'm headed and that's where I want to go. But also, prior to this, you spent 35 years in the financial area and you have that background. I understand you have a Amazon International best-selling book. Tell us a little bit about that and how you came to do that.
Well, thank you so much. I am a co-author in that book,
Yes,
and that is a book for women about your financial health, and it is a wealth. It's called Wealth Mastery for Women,
yes,
and it is 12, 12 steps to not steps, but 12 ideals and well, it's working steps you can actually take. It's like a workbook. You can take step 1, step 2, step 3 through 12, and you actually can help yourself become an entrepreneur. You don't have to be a woman. We say we like to speak to all of the women in the world who are motivated to better themselves, and also really smart men.
I
So
like I like that very much. And I love the title of your book, for women, because one of the things that I know at this juncture for me, and it's still an embryo in the beginning process, is that most of us, even if we have great business skills, the financial aspect of it, the creativity is there, but the handling and the managing of the financial area is sometimes needing a lot of help.
Yeah,
So
it
this,
can be a challenge. Yeah.
it can be a challenge.
Right. Well, I jumped into the investment world when I right out of college because I was broke and I needed money, and so I thought, well, what's the best way to earn some money? And I thought, well, first I got to learn about money and see what I if ever I did have some money, what can I do with it and how can I manage it and how can I do so intelligently. And I thought, well, the least I could do is that go into the money business so that I could learn the language of money, which is a very, very broad, deep language that I would, advise all women particularly to begin. And there's so many tools online now for
Yes.
literacy, financial literacy, that we didn't have those tools back when.
Ah,
But at any rate, I was one of the early women who began my own, not only right after being hired as a woman stockbroker, which was very rare back in the mid 70s.
yes.
You could be a secretary to a stockbroker, but you
Oh,
couldn't be a stockbroker right out of college.
mhm,
Except I
mhm.
just was in that area of where when women were really saying, "Oh, no, I'm going to be a salesman. I can do this." And I had some personal fortitude, and I had some great mentors,
Love
great
that word.
mentors.
Fortitude. Yes.
And so I jumped in, became a stockbroker, and within 4 years working with the major companies, I exited and had the balls or the gall, I'll call it, to
Oh,
open my own brokerage business, which was amazing. Looking back, I don't know how I had the courage to do that,
good for
but I
you.
did. And that was the beginning of a 34-year career in the investment advisory world. And so that was my first career. And I have to say, the financial business and I were great friends. It was not easy,
No, I'm
not
sure.
easy.
I have no doubts and no reservations about that, Lynn, because I like several of the words that you use for us, and words that I really connect and relate to, and most of the audience, I'm sure, as well. Magical, and you said the language of money, because I'm learning for me now that what I thought I knew, I'm not as on top of it as I ought to be, and I'm in the process of learning myself. So I know exactly what you mean. The language of money, it's a whole new it's almost like the wild frontier if you're new to it. But like anything else, you acclimate and you get used to it. Tell us one more thing here that I'm interested in, because I know this motivational series that you're doing with the 13 episodes.
Yes.
You also have asked people to be a part of the filming audience. So tell us how people can become a part of the filming audience for
Oh,
that.
great. Thank you, Joy. Well, first of all, we are so grateful for the audience that we did have on July 30th.
Cool.
We had a full ballroom filled full of the most wonderful people, and they become part of the filming, the television filming. Without the audience, we wouldn't have the kind of
Yes,
magic and
get it.
frequency, the high frequency that we did filming these wonderful four people, because when they're on stage, they feed and they
Absolutely.
get energy, and it's a dynamic thing from with the audience. And just think, the audience becomes part of the actors, of the on in the stage, and the whole idea of this is to create a frequency that is conducive for change. And you see the faces come alive in the
Yeah.
audiences. And so we are giving another opportunity for our next filming
Yes.
for people to be in the audience again. This will be in November, mid November. We're
Uh-huh.
actually going to have two filming dates back to back. This
Wonderful.
will be 2 days consecutive on November 13th and 14th. Now,
Okay.
that's the middle of the week, a Wednesday and a Thursday. and it just happens to be that's when we're able to get the majority of our next speakers, the roster that we have pulled together, as well as the beautiful ballroom. We will be filming this in a 5-star resort location in Newport Beach, California.
Oh my,
It's
my, my, my.
I know it's called the Balboa Bay Resort. It
Yes.
is right on the water. It's the only 5-star resort right on the water. The boats line up in the harbor right in front of it.
Oh
As
my.
you leave the ballroom, you'll be able to go right down on and walk along the boat docks. Beautiful, big, gorgeous boats that give you the feeling like, I've got some goals in life, and it's time for me to
Wow.
bring my big dreams into existence
Big
because
dream.
my goals are worth it. And look at me, here I am in this beautiful location. We want people to feel empowered
Yes.
by the beauty of the setting.
Oh, that's it. It sounds like we all need to be there. Are you allowed, or are you able to share with us the next 4 people that you will be interviewing, or you want to keep that top secret?
No, I'm going to share with you some of them, and we're still, contracting with them as I speak. But we have an absolute yes with Jack Canfield,
Yes.
who's going to be with us, and he's internationally known top.
We know.
We have uh, we we have a wonderful gentleman named Blaine Bartlett, who is a international. He's more known in Japan and internationally. He's done a great deal of training and work with Bob Proctor throughout the years.
Yeah.
And we also have invited, but we don't have exact name, contracting done yet with people. I'm going to name some of our top dream people that if they say yes,
Okay.
then we're going to have the most magical place. But we don't have the actual yeses yet.
It's going to be magical regardless, Lynn.
Yes, going to be magical regardless. But
Yeah.
we are attracting people like Lisa Nichols,
Yes.
Reverend Dr. Michael Beckwith.
Yes. We know him.
We
Mhm.
have Nick Vujicic, who is an international speaker star from Australia. And we have other personalities. Cynthia Kersey, who is the foundation lead, lead of the nonprofit Unstoppable Foundation, who does a great deal of work in Africa
Yes.
with education and helping people in Africa.
Listen,
And
Lynn, you could give us name after name after
we
name. I
can.
can already tell that you have enough there for people to get excited about.
Yeah, and one other, I just want to tell you what happened this last time. We had a 24 hours before we started filming, we had the greatest luck to receive an okay from an internationally known sports celebrity, motivational speaker, Sugar Ray Leonard, who
Yes.
came on board with us. And in the last minute, he was there. The audience went nuts. He was not only on stage, but he was backstage interviewing the speakers as they came off the stage. So we were doing a lot of excitement, doing some B-roll, behind stage B-roll. And so we have someone up our sleeves who's also going to be very special this coming filming, but I really have to keep that one
Well,
secret.
listen, you can keep them all secret. I tell you, it is magical. This whole project that you have going here, and I'm like so excited for you and for all of us. One of my co-partners and friends here says, "How can we help you?" Well, we can help you by getting people to come and making sure that we put up your link. People can connect with you via your name, your website,
Yes.
and your email.
Yes. I would like the way that people can find out all about not only the project, but coming to be part of the filming, which
Yes,
is an extraordinary opportunity, not just because you're part of the filming, but you get to meet and be with other like minded people and networking.
yes.
We've had some amazing business deals happening right there in the audience, and in over a 2-day period, this is going to be even better still. All you need to do is go to worldsgreatestmotivators.com.
Okay.
And that is a site that right now we have up, which is a wait list. You can opt in there to put your name on our wait list.
That's what I wanted to hear.
That's what it
Great.
is.
I
It's a
have the
wait
website
list.
going across, and then I can make some notes here. And Adair,
Mm-hmm.
you can put that maybe in the mini chat or something. I don't know what we'll do, or in a get response letter that we send out so that people can be aware of that. And that's November the 13th and the 14th, I think you said?
That's right. So we will be sending out all the pricing and the details and everything in the next 3 weeks or so, 2 to 3 weeks. But for now, you can get at least your name on a wait list, and that way we'll send you all the information. You'll be first to know.
Lynn, time flies here. It's the half hour is gone and we're over, but it's never over for me. I am delighted and honored that we have met and we're connected. I know it's a lifelong connection from here on. The way that we connected and the time that you took and how we did this will always be in my heart because you
Oh,
are doing all the things that I desire to do and want to do, and I will always be connected. Is there anything that I didn't ask you, or is there anything you want to share with us before you say so long for now? We never say goodbye until we connect the next time. Is there anything you want to leave the audience with? I think you've shared an awful lot with us, but if there's anything, now is the time. And then I'm going to ask you to go into the to green room and I'll say goodbye to the audience. So if there's
excellent.
anything, now is the time.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you, Joy, for this professional show and for your reaching out to the women of the world. And you are the epitome of a leading lady yourself. I just want to
Oh,
say how honored I am, what a privilege it is to be on your show. And I know that you're doing great, great things to the world. I'm going to try to help you get this show out, into bigger, 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 bigger places because you're doing great work. And I want to thank you.
thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I have no words. So so long for now. Thank you, thank you. Oh
Thank you.
my.
Thank you.
What can I say before I say that the time goes here and it goes so quickly and my cursor has its own personality, but there we go. Thank all of you for being here. It is always delightful, and I'm happy when I look out and see that you're here because we know that it's not the best time. And may I say, when it comes to relationships, which is what we're all about, there is something that I want all of you to look into if you haven't already. And if you're watching the replay, it stands there as well. Relationships are everything. This is how I got to connect with Lynn. And this is how we began to build our relationship. And it will continue. This I know in my heart, in my gut, whatever name you choose to use. Because the relationship that you build with yourself as we rise to get to our better self, then you're able to connect with other people. So I want you to find out what your communicating personality style is, and all you have to do is just put in the word key, Key, and then you'll be able to get a personality quiz to let you know what your communicating style is. And then you'll be able to peruse and see the other three, and you can take it from there. But it's fun, and it's always good to know a little bit more about ourselves. It was wonderful having you here tonight. And I can only say that I'm always smiling, but I can't get the smile off my face because I'm just so happy that I was able to spend this time with you and with our guest tonight, Lynn Kitchen. And I hope that you will get the website, the email address, and her name and make a connection with her because you will never, ever regret it. Her work is stupendous. It really is. And may I say, join us next week, same time, same station, another leading lady. And I can't wait for you to have a great, happy holiday weekend until we connect the next time. So long for now, and thank you. Cheers.